Hello, we're at the Urban Safari again today. Today we're going to be talking with Jenna, and she's going to tell us about some of the leopard geckos that are here. There are quite a few, and some of them have some interesting stories, so let's go find out about these leopard geckos.
Okay, this is Flint the leopard gecko, and it is lunchtime for him. Come on, Flint. So, Flint is a leopard gecko. They live in India and South and Central Asia. They live in the desert. They're called leopard geckos. He doesn't have a lot of spots like you see on others. This is more like how they would look in the wild. The spots are more from breeding for the pet trade. Leopard geckos are like other geckos. They can drop their tail when faced with predators, but they can only grow it back 2 to 3 times in their life. And it gets shorter and smaller each time. Flint has a nice long tail. He's never lost it. It comes to a nice long point. Oh, and you saw that twitching that he did with his tail? That's what they do when they're hunting. They'll stick it up and they'll shake it. They also do that when they're around predators to get them to focus on their tail. So that way the predator will go off the tail. They'll drop the tail, run away, and the tail will twitch and wiggle for 20 minutes after it's dropped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then he gets away. But he can only do it 2 to 3 times, and they can live 15 to 20 years. So they have to be careful. And that tail is also like a camel's hump. It stores all their fat and energy. So again, they want to be really careful when they drop their tail, because then they're without their food source.
How often do they get fed?
Every couple days. I think I get fed 3 times a week.
And is it just worms, or do they get other things as well?
We'll give them crickets too. Yeah, worms and crickets. Oh, and another cool thing about these guys, they don't have eyelids, so they can't clean their eyes the way we do by blinking. So what they do is they take their long tongue and they'll lick their eyes. Where's Hercules? Oh, you're both in there. So Hercules and Athena live together, so we have to feed them separately, otherwise they fight over their food. So Hercules and Athena both lost their tails at some point.
Right, so they're fatter.
They're fatter and shorter.
Right.
And you can see where it broke off on him right here.
Oh, gotcha.
Hey, Athena. Hungry? Yummy.
So she's got a bigger tail.
She's got a bigger, fatter tail, but she's lost it too. The whole tail came off.
Whereas his kind of like a third of the way down.
Yeah.
Or 2/3. Her head looks like the same shape as her tail. Because I'm looking up here, I couldn't see her tongue sticking out and stuff. Like you could almost mistake them.
Mm-hmm. So in the wild, they'll have a few spots, but the spots will mainly be more on the tail to get the predator to focus on.
And these ones are like
these
spotted.
These ones are very spotted from all the breeding in the pet trade, because people like the.
They look pretty.
They look pretty. They look like leopards.
And they will fight amongst each other if you
Yeah.
at the same time. like his eyeball.
Yeah. And this way we make sure they get the same amount of food.
Right.
One doesn't take all the food from the other.
Oh, she did kind of close her eyes there.
Yeah, they can close them. They can't clean their eyes when they close them. And another cool thing about them, you can see, I'll turn him a little, but you can see his ear canal on the side. They have a hollow head, you can see out one.
You're kidding. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting anatomy. Can you actually see through?
I think like
Really far in, actually.
you can like shine a light, it'll. So,
She's a recent requirement?
we've had her for almost a year, maybe at least 6 months.
Okay, so what's her story?
All right, so Lizzy came in. The owner who brought her in hadn't been feeding her, so she was super skinny, and we had to slowly feed her because we couldn't just start feeding her lots of food right away, because then
Shock to the system.
shock to the system. And it's taken a while, but she's put on a lot more weight. Her tail still could be fatter. We're working on that, but she's never lost her tail.
Yeah. I think I can tell now.
But we're still working on getting it nice and fat like the others. So, healthy leopard gecko has a fat tail.
She's really pretty.
She is.
Blue-gray eyes. You see how shaky I am?
So since coming here, we've also made her into a show lizard, so she goes out on presentations now.
Do you weigh them ever?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She's so pretty.
I'm not sure if she was weighed when she first came in, but her tail was like pencil thin. They're not very handleable. Like, their skin is very fragile. You can't really pet them or it'll break. So when we bring them on shows, we just hold them. But I guess because they're, yeah.
When do they drop their tails?
When they feel threatened by, like, so in the wild, if a predator's chasing them, then, you know, stick the tail up in the air, shake it really fast like a rattlesnake, and then it's a different color than them, so hopefully that'll attract the predator, and then they can just push the tail off. It'll fall, shake for 20-30 minutes, and then the predator will eat that. Well, they can run away and hide.
And it's got all their nutrients in it, so it actually probably tastes pretty darn good.
Probably.
And yeah, so Thunder's never lost her tail, and yet it is a different color, and I guess that's a defense mechanism in a way too.
Yep. Get them attracted to the pretty tail at the end there.
And I noticed with her, or Flint, not her,
Flint, him.
He's one that looks like that's how he would look in the wild.
Yeah.
So their tail's a lot more spotted than the rest of them naturally, I guess.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. Some points to consider before getting a leopard gecko. They can live 20 years or longer in captivity, so they are not a short-term pet. They require live mealworms or crickets daily, 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how big they are, which means keeping a supply of their food in your house. Also, consider who would be willing to care for your gecko when you go on vacation, as there are some people who are uncomfortable with lizards, or worms, or crickets, or all of them. Another thing to keep in mind is that they are not cuddly pets. Their skin are fragile, and they will at best tolerate being handled. I hope you enjoyed learning about these leopard geckos with me and meeting Flint, Hercules, Athena, Lizzy, and Thunder. These geckos all used to be pets and were surrendered for various reasons, but they sure are getting the best of care here at the Urban Safari Rescue Society. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to be the first to see our future videos.